Well, with so many job losses and the threat of yet more to come, it's been a tumultuous few days for bankers in the City of London, with hundreds clearing their desks, job interviews conducted in outdoor cafes, and who knows that world better than Geraint Anderson, a former top stock analyst at a major investment bank.
I'm just a city boy, another loaded pretty boy, Colombian exporter.
Geraint Anderson rose to prominence with a less than flattering account of life in the city, first in an anonymous newspaper column, and then more recently in his book Cityboy, Beer and Loathing in the Square Mile. There'll be plenty of that tonight, Geraint Anderson. But beneath the surface, what we see, what is really going on tonight? What would be entering the heads of people sitting at their screens?
I mean, as far as I can see, from all the colleagues and ex-colleagues, ex-clients I speak to, there's an air of utter depression in the city at the moment. There is genuine fear about whether you're going to have a job, but even worse than that, if you keep your job, are you going to have a bonus? Because, of course, when you've got a bunch of employers who will only pay you as little as they can get away with, and they know there aren't other banks to go to now, they know that you can't really go for another job, so you're in big trouble.
But that could well affect your judgment. I mean, you're going to make big judgments.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my concerns is that, in fact, the risky, short-term, greedy gambling that's caused the credit crunch could actually be exacerbated by what's happened. You might have a devil-may-care attitude. Who knows if I'm going to have a job in a year or two's time? I might as well just bet the house and see what happens. And so we could have further problems afoot because of that.
But, I mean, you were doing this until February. I mean, do you leave the human race?
You have to become a little bit more ruthless, a little bit more selfish. You have to be extremely competitive. You have to usually work pretty long hours.
And do you feel a kind of vengeful... People are talking about the smell of blood. I mean, you see H-Boss tumbling.
Yes.
Let's get them. Let's go.
Well, certainly true of the hedge funds. And they are the only people who can really make huge profits when share prices fall, because, of course, they have the ability to short shares. And they've actually been blamed for quite a lot of the volatility of what we've seen, and some of the other banks as well. I mean, maybe the likes of Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley aren't too upset that Merrill Lynch is being taken over by Bank of America, or indeed Lehman's has fallen, because they've got less competitors, or not in the case of Merrill's, but certainly in the case of Lehman's.
Beer and loathing, you heard it here, and it's more of it on the trail right now. And the latest on AIG, in the last few moments, the organisation Bloomberg has quoted a source familiar with the negotiations as saying the Fed is now mulling over a loan package to the insurance giant. So there's government money. More 4 News is up next at 8. We're back tomorrow at noon, and again